Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Zemo, the dad in DPS, and today's video is another episode of The Good, the Scrap, and the Script, a series where I review weapons I've either made or found in Appalachia and see if they are up to snuff. Now, this one is a special video for me because technically, if this was back in the day, this weapon would be considered a legacy, and that makes it a very special thing for me because when I used this type of weapon originally, I found it incredibly fun and really useful. Either way guys, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And today's weapon is Kaiju number 8. Because I like making stupid puns and find myself funny. Either way, this is a Gormon's Explosive Resilient Radium Rifle, which gives you 24 damage while your hunger and first meters are filled, bullets explode for 20% weapon damage, and damage resistance while you're reloading. Now, back in the day when energy weapons lost their original explosive effects when the game first came out, this also lost its explosive effect. So it's only recently that this has actually regained this effect and become a legitimate way of using it. And when I used this back in the day, it was very fun, very, very great. I think it was Jocko Horror who loaned me his to make a video about. So this is a little bit of nostalgia for me, and a kind of turning of how this weapon is. This weapon deserved to have the explosive effect. It was never overpowered, it was never broken, so it's great to see this weapon get a buff in this form once I came back to the game, so I'm really interested in seeing how it performs and how it does. And yeah, I think the Radium Rifle's a great little gun. I definitely think that a lot more people should use it, but it does get outclassed slightly by its older brothers, such as your Fixer and your Handmaid. But we'll definitely see how it works here. Now, it does have the unique effect on there that it does radiation damage, just like the stupid little pistol thing that I can never remember the name of. Looks like a radar dish attached to a bit of junk. Leave it down in the comments. Either way, let's get on with it, and I'll show you a little bit of the build we're using. Don't take it too seriously, it is incomplete. Now, as you can see, this build is a little bit all over the place. Most of the damage stuff is there, but you know, the quality of life stuff like my endurance perks, my legendary perks aren't quite where I want them, but you know, it is what it is. We're kind of building this build up to be the biggest, tankiest mofo in the wasteland. Either way, let's get on with testing. Now, to start off, we're going to show you this weapon against Super Mutants. And the reason I'm doing that is, as you can see on the resistance chart at the top, Super Mutants have the unique resistance that they are completely immune to the radiation. So this weapon is actually weaker against Super Mutants than it is against other enemies. And you're seeing fairly easily that this weapon completely destroys them. Like, I am not struggling to kill these enemies. And you're seeing in stealth, it only takes a couple of shots. Out of stealth, we are obviously doing less damage, but we're able to kill them fairly quickly. There's not a disadvantage against Super Mutants that you would expect with a weapon that, you know, does radiation damage. But this just means against regular enemies, you know, things that aren't quite as super, it's going to be doing more damage. And once again, we are at Jeff, and we're going to sneak and try and hit the big old donk in his ugly face with this thing, and you're seeing, like, it does decent damage, but the unfortunate thing is Jeff will wake up pretty quickly during that. But you're seeing, yeah, we're killing him quite effectively, and this thing can be free fired. Now, if you're going to free fire it, make sure you are using it in burst, because the recoil is a bit, like, not like insane, but it just kind of moves about too much if you're aiming for headshots. So little short bursts are the best way to do it. And with Jeff gone, we move to the Mirelurk Queen. Now, an interesting little tidbit that I did not know is that the freaking Mirelurk Queen and all her little friends are immune to radiation damage, so this should be an interesting one. Now, you're seeing this is a max level Mirelurk Queen, and we are doing some relatively decent damage to her. Like, we aim at her head, we are doing some decent damage. It is just a case of she is not going to go down quite that quickly. And unless you're able to, you know, get consistent hits on them. This is where the downside of the Radium is its AP cost is quite high. So what you realistically want in that last slot is AP reduction. If you're going to use it in VATS, of course. Like, if you're not going to use it in VATS, it's kind of a moot point. But the damage is decent. Like, it's not like we're struggling to kill her here. And you can free aim it and deal some damage. But at the same time, she isn't, like, she's a bullet sponge, let's be honest. But there's no trouble killing her. There's no trouble killing her. And killing her little friends is usually quite a simple task. I don't know why I freaking did that there. But look at the damage we do to them. We kind of pop their heads relatively easily. And this is without, god damn you Mirelurk King, this is without the Radium Rifle dealing its full damage on these enemies. And you're seeing it. It shreds through them quite consistently. Though, I'm going to say this, fighting Mirelurks with this gun is not an idea because you're not getting your ammo back. So now we come to daily ops and how this weapon interacts with enemies in here. Now, you kill enemies fairly quickly with it, and you are going to certainly be getting your ammo back in spades. If you bring a friend, that is a far-gone conclusion. You're going to get the ammo back, and there's going to be absolutely no problem with getting your ammo back in general. On top of that, the damage is pretty decent. If you use it in stealth, you are going to do rather well with that, but there is the downside that its AP use is pretty high for the type of weapon it is. I always find that I am constantly running out of AP depending on if I'm overweight or anything like that. It depends on what's going on. It's not always the case, but my AP is not where I want it to be quite a lot of the time. But because you're dealing such consistent and good damage, it is just a fun weapon, and I'd heavily encourage everybody uses it. It is just fun. It's fun to use the Radium Rifle. It is not the best rifle in the game, but it is a fun rifle to use. So that was Kaiju number 8. Now, an incredibly powerful weapon, and not even the best variant that you could potentially get with this gun. It works rather well, and if you're wanting to use a gourmet build, then you have some reason to use this weapon, especially in stealth. Again, you can use it out of stealth, but typically, you know, rifles, commando, stealth commando, it works really well. Either way, guys, I enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if there's any weapons you'd like to see me review or test in the game, definitely leave a comment down below with that. But as I usually say, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time in the Wasteland.
Through the dark, moonlight's dimly shedding, a shadow creeping. Feel your heart entwining, a twisted mind.